every single matchup on the first week of Dana White's Contender Series is just full of compelling matchups. On paper, these people line up great. All of the matchups are competitive, exciting. I'm looking forward to this one just as much as I am looking forward to the others. But we also have something different about this matchup, and that's we have a returning contender on the Contender Series, and that is Bruno Lopes. He's stepping into the light heavyweight division to take on Mikheil Sazhiniani. I think is how you say it, Sazhiniani. Bear with me if I got that wrong. So Mikheil Sazhiniani, he's 5-0 in his last 5 fights, 13-2 on the career. The guy's made a pretty good account of himself. On the other hand, we've got 12-1 for Lopes, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Also a pretty good account of himself. His only loss coming the last time he was on the Contender Series, where he kind of just looked a little flat and got knocked out. So wasn't the best look for him. I remember because last season everybody was on Lopes, right? Nobody was on the other side because we all saw the tape on Lopes and said, this guy's going to do great. And then what happened was he showed up and didn't look the same as he did on tape because it'd been a bit since his last matchup. There was a bit of a gap from most recent fight until that Contender Series fight. And he didn't look right. But he's back. He's had a win in the LFA since. Here's where we're at. So let's break this one down. We're going to start on the Sazhiniani side. And for Sazhiniani, he's a well-rounded fighter. He seems to enjoy striking more than grappling, but he's willing to do both, and he's very well-rounded. He's a good striker with a ton of power. He's got 12 KO victories in his 13 wins. Dude can hit hard, right? That's kind of what you want, especially fighting a guy that's only losses by knockout. So that's something you want. He has very good spin kicks, but one thing that is a red flag for me is with the spin kicks is as you get to higher levels, guys are able to time that a little bit better. Shoot, we even saw Valentina Shevchenko lose her title because she threw a spin kick. And so at the highest level, the spin kicks sometimes can just end up where you get taken down, get your back taken, and that's not what you want. And I can see that being the case here because Lopes is good in the grappling and can get in on people's hips, especially if you just present them to them like that. So the spin kick, I do like it because it's an effective weapon for Sazhiniani, but I do see the holes in the move, so that's why it gets the plus minus there. He does work the body very well with his punches and his kicks and his knees, all of that. His knees I really like because what he does is when he comes in with the knee, he'll grab the head and just drive the knee in and then just go right back into his stance. It's not like he has to make it into a clinch situation. So the use of the knees is pretty impressive for Sazhiniani, and I think the way that he does it kind of causes a disruption in his opponent's rhythm pretty well. He does get to swinging wild at times when he gets a little bit excited, and that's not something I like to see. I mean, obviously it's worked out for him. He's got a lot of knockouts, but at the same time, sometimes when you're swinging wild, you can get knocked out yourself. So keep that in mind. Grappling department. He does a good job in the grappling, and something I really like is as his opponents try to put their forward pressure on him, he'll feint that level change. He'll get real low like this and then just come back up into the striking. He'll do that pretty effectively to stop them from coming in because they know that he does have a decent takedown. So they know that if that's coming, they need to prepare for it. So it obviously halts their momentum. They're ready to sprawl, and then he comes back at him over the top. So that's something that works really well for him. If he does end up on top, he's got good top pressure. He works to advance his position, and he's very good at working in the ground and pound. So those are the things that you want to see. Additionally, he's got good takedown defense, and he's going to probably need that here at some point because I do think Lopes is going to want to mix it up on him because on the feet, I could see Sazhiniani landing some shots and Lopes saying, oh, I remember this very, very vividly is the last time I was on Contender Series and saying, I need to get this fight to the mat. So when we look at the Lopes side, what do we see from him? I'm actually going to start with grappling for him because that's kind of where we left off, right? So the takedown defense of Sazhiniani is going to put to the test because the guy's got a decent body lock takedown, Lopes does. And if he can get a hold of the body, get in tight, and start working that, I think that's the way he's going to get this to the mat. I don't think he's going to get shooting traditional takedowns and getting the takedown there. I think that's where he's going to struggle. So he needs to get in tight, get that body lock. If he does get on top, this dude is absolutely nasty with the top pressure, and his ground and pound is very, very good. He also has pretty good takedown defense of his own. So if this fight does go to the mat, something's got to give because both guys do have pretty good takedown defense. On the feet for Lopes, yes, we saw the chin cracked in his last Contender Series fight. Brenson Ribeiro hits pretty hard, so I'll give him a bit of a pass there. But there are some holes in the game that can lead to that, and that's what happened. So, guy's a good striker with good forward pressure. He's got plenty of volume, very good combinations, and he strikes well at all levels. The problem is sometimes he gets to where he starts throwing these hooks like so, And then what happens is he's wide open to counters because he's no longer looking defense whatsoever. Instead of bringing the hands back each time, he just starts swinging these hooks. And when he starts to do that, that's when he's open. And that's when he can get cracked. That's what you see happen, in fights, right? When you got a guy that's coming in undefeated in his last one, he's never experienced that before. He's never, what happens if I get caught? Now he's been caught. Can he remedy that? Okay, so ultimately, when I look at these two, what conclusion do I come to? Where do I find myself? For me, so when I watched Bruno Lopes's LFA fight after his Contender Series fight, he won, and he got the finish. But he still didn't quite look like the Bruno that we saw prior to that first Contender Series appearance. And I don't know what was up. It just doesn't. Something's not right about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the only one thinking this. But because of that, I got to go with Sazhiniani. I think he's got the tools to land his power shots. I think he's got the tools to hang in the grappling as well. Bruno Lopes, it's a light heavyweight fight. Bruno Lopes could totally crack him and knock him out. But at the same time, I think Sazhiniani's got the skills here to land on the feet. And I think he's going to have a little bit more power. And I think his kind of wild style is going to give some problems for Lopes, who just didn't look quite right in that last matchup. So for me, it's Sazhiniani. But I'd love to hear from you guys. If you could let me know who you have in the comments down below. And while you're down there, hit that like button for me. I do appreciate it greatly. Also, make sure to check out the playlist. It's going to have every single Week 1 Dana White's Contender Series matchup in it. So you can check that out. And I will see you guys in all those videos right over there.